Mortgage executives have called the broker world the wild, wild west right in front of me. And if you've ever tried opening and running your own mortgage business, you'd know why. The truth is, nobody really ever teaches us how to do it and the right way. And when I started my business, there was no coaches who could help. And it's the main reason why I stepped out of origination and how I help loan officers and mortgage brokers start their businesses with a bang. I'm Megan, and after 20 years in the mortgage industry, I was originating 300 loans a year. I've opened three different successful mortgage brokerages and built them from the ground up, also while opening other businesses alongside them. And I did that so that I could help you win this game. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be pulling back the curtain on the strategies that I used to build my 7-figure mortgage businesses year after year. So grab a pen and paper because I promise you, this is one video that you'll come back to again and again. So here's what I've seen over and over with loan officers when they leave their companies and they open their own broker shop. Instead of becoming business owners, they become overworked loan officers who now pay the bills, they manage compliance, they're originating loans, just on top of everything else. It's overwhelming. They're working nights, weekends, constantly putting out fires and wondering why this business that they dreamed about feels more like a trap. And I get it if that's you. I did this to an extent too, and I was never taught how to really run a business. I had to go outside of our industry to find mentors and systems to implement. And it's why I ended up building my own system and why I share it with other loan officers and broker owners. So, if you're going to open a mortgage brokerage, you need to ask yourself this question: am I building a business or am I just going to own my own job? There's honestly no right or wrong answer to this, but you have to be clear on what you're building and what you want 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Because if it's a business that you're not always going to be working in, it has to have systems, structure, people, accountability. Otherwise, you're always going to be stuck originating loans. How I started doing this and how I teach this is I break it down and I break every successful mortgage business into 3 pillars. The first pillar is getting customers. That's marketing and sales. Things like how you prospect to customers, how you convert leads, your borrower's experience, the sales process, how you follow up with clients after they're closed. That's your first pillar. Your second pillar is your service fulfillment. That means how do they get the product or the service? So in the mortgage industry, that's when you receive a sales contract, when you lock a loan, how the loan goes into processing. Processing then takes it to closing. That's service fulfillment, second pillar. Your third pillar is operations. That's things like finances, human resources, the vendors that your company uses, your management and admin of the company, licensing and compliance, tech and training, business development, and how your company grows beyond how you start it. So these 3 pillars, they're not just theory. You have to have them, you do have them, and you have to document them. You have to assign them to someone on your team, and you have to review it consistently. Whether it's a job, a VA's job, a manager's job, someone has to own every area of the business. This isn't to say that you can ignore the other things that go on in your business because you're still the CEO of your business, which means you have to have a handle on all the decisions and activities that need to be completed for your company to run. They just don't have to be the main focus of what your weeks and your months entail. You take these 3 pillars. Pillar 1 is getting customers, marketing and sales. Pillar 2 is providing the service to the customer, and pillar 3 is operations. Let's take a closer look at these pillars to understand more about what I'm talking about. Underneath each of these 3 pillars, in this framework, you identify the most important things that happen under each pillar. And I call these impact areas. And it's the organizational process of identifying the essential functions in a business, assigning ownership to someone, and then making sure that that person who owns it is executing what has to be done monthly. Because to have a kick-ass business, you have to get really good at each piece of your business. And most loan officers, we all have a deep understanding from when we've originated of the first pillar, which is sales and marketing. So think about it. The things that we usually are most focused on in sales and marketing is what you're familiar with. Prospecting. Are you going out and meeting with realtors? Or lead conversion? How are you getting leads in? Then how quickly are you responding? Your borrower's experience, the sales process, what you put in front of the customer. What's your post-closing client nurture so you get repeat business? That's what you should be focusing on. And if you do that, this is how you stop the chaos and you start operating like a real business. No more guessing, no more surprises. You know the things that must happen in your business. You don't have to get buried in building, hiring, and training, the other two pillars that we're about to talk about. You're just ensuring that they're being executed monthly. So the best example of this is if you handle pillar one of sales and marketing, then the second pillar, which is providing the service, the product or the service to the customer, we already outsource that a lot of times in the broker world, which is through outsourced contract processing. You know what your processor needs to be doing. You find the processor who can work alongside you, and you both communicate and execute that piece together. But you're typically not going out and hiring and training that processor. That's your service fulfillment. Things like when you receive a contract, what are the steps that happen? How do you lock your loans? What do you expect from a processor when they're processing the loan from the time it gets submitted till the time it closes? Framework is we do the same thing when it comes to the third pillar, which is the operations of the business. Operations covers impact areas such as finances, human resources, vendor management, which are our wholesale lenders. And so what I want to do is I want to dig into one of those impact areas under operations because we're not as familiar with these. And I want to show you how under the area, under this operations pillar, how finances can play a role and someone else can handle it and what it looks like when it's set up properly. When you own the business and finances, it's really important to know how you're getting money. Accounts receivable. Do you know when loans fund? Do you have a system to track commission checks hitting your business account? How quickly are they being deposited? Same thing with accounts payable or bills. Are you tracking your expenses? Are bills buried in your inbox? Are you spending on things you don't need any longer? It's important to know and understand what should be happening. It's okay for someone else to execute it. You hire an accountant, a bookkeeper. Same thing with pricing. If you're going to start bringing loan officers on, do you know what you want your average basis points to be at the end of each month? Are you pricing relatively intentionally? Running a business, it's a game. And the more you understand the game and the more fun and profitable it gets when you learn how to play the game in the best way possible. And so for all of you control freaks out there, you might be cringing right now, right? But I'm not just giving you theory. I use this framework in our business after not using it for years. It's a dashboard, it's a framework, and it's helped my own businesses, other mortgage brokers have huge income shifts in their first year in business. And that's unheard of. And it's by knowing what has to be done, but being able to very efficiently give it to someone who can handle it, take care of it, and you hold them accountable each month. Nobody teaches mortgage business ownership like this because most people who are teaching really have never done it, or they're in a model where it can't be broken out. But as a broker, you can break these areas out. And there are companies now like our Collab Broker Concierge that will handle your operational responsibilities for you. You don't need different loan products. You don't need better pricing. You don't even need a fancy CRM. You just need better information and to learn from people who have walked in the path that you're walking right now. You need somebody to show you what running a successful mortgage business actually looks like, and then walk it with you while you build it. I created this really cool return on investment calculator that shows you how taking some of this off your plate, spending less on expenses, handing some of these things over, letting go, and focusing on what's most important, 6 figures help you. So if you'd like to figure out how you can save in your brokerage, how you can take things off your plate, and how you can really start looking at the pillars in your business in a different way that really gives you time back and gives you money back, I'd love to have you click on that link and schedule a call with me and my team. So if you're ready to stop letting your business run you and start actually running the business yourself, this is it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can watch more of these videos so you can build something bigger. Hit the bell because next week's video, I'm going to walk you through a breakdown of this dashboard and the scorecards that we use and how we assign these different areas in our 3-pillar and our impact area systems. Thanks for joining us on our video today, and I will see you guys next week.